Good morning, here we are, almost Christmas, and I have finally completed my series of prayer/angel journals that I've been working on for quite some time now. I actually printed them all, the digitals, out in April 2023 when I fell in love with this series. They're a collection, several kits actually, created by Debrina Pratt from PixieDustFiles. And I was not able to dig into them and do what I really wanted to do and make them so exquisitely special until this fall. And I've mentioned it's been a labor of love, which it truly has. I've just been so enamored with this collection. I love the creative whimsy and design that is behind the images, and just the reflective, inspiring nature of what they represent is just so meaningful and beautiful. I hope you enjoy watching what I have created with them. It's a series of 5 journals. 2 are the tall skinny and 3 are the standard size journals, 8.5 by 5.5 finished covers. And they're all spoken for, but I am creating several more in a slightly different direction. This is a lot more what I would call maybe elegant, but a little bit more glitzy, shiny, sparkly, angelic, soft, feminine, romantic. The other ones will maybe have a little bit more color to them. We'll see. When I think of prayer journals or angel journals, I still think of cream and white and neutral and soft, very soft tones. But one is going to have blue in it. So that's something that you can look forward to seeing in the future. I will be using a lot of the same digitals because I did print out so many. I printed some on just regular copy paper and hammer mill paper, 24 pounds, some 32 pound. And then I also printed on parchment paper and painted them, spritzed them, did different things to them. So you get different color variations. Debrina's digitals are very bright, and I love that about them. They're just so colorful. To make them a little bit more neutral, I did tea dyeing rather than coffee dyeing because that's my preference. I love the golden tone that tea dyeing gives them. So that's just a bit of the backstory here. And I have named all of these journals. They are what I would call, not spiritual names, but they are thought-provoking and meant to really cause reflection and not soul-searching, not supplication so much as just really expressing your faith and your walk with God, which is what I hope that they do for the prospective new owners. This one is the first one that I put together. I did them all very much the same. The 2 tall skinnies have narrower, taller tags in them because that's what suits their design much better. But as far as thickness goes, they are packed, absolutely packed. This is a 1.5 inch spine, almost 2 when you stack it like that. So very, very full of ephemera. You can take it all out, set it to the side, journal your thoughts as you go along, and then tuck back whichever pieces you would like, whichever order you would like them in, or put them in other journals and add scriptures and different things to this particular journal, should you choose to do so. I have used a lot of my very special, very old, precious laces that I've been collecting for a long time. It just did this series honor. I just wanted to really do a lovely job. And I'm not Catholic background, but I have so much respect for the for all of the sacraments and such that go along with that faith. And some of my very dear friends have added some insight into how I can showcase what I'm truly trying to convey by creating these journals. So enough said, let's go inside. One of the sweet little ideas I got from Debrina and she does collaborate a lot with Maria from UnderTheNightMoon. I actually purchased a journal from Maria in 2023 that I absolutely love, and it's just so beautiful. Those girls are so talented and creative, especially together. Their whimsy is just so sweet. I really love it. I made these tag stack flip toppers for the journals. I did 2 tall skinnies, and then I did a couple of the other ones that you'll see in the next journals. And then I just stacked a little booklet that I've made with some of the digitals, added some beautiful antique lace to it, some gold threads, painted the edges silver, and I just stamped it. This one is a little bit more of a comforting pocket journal, just a tiny little booklet, really. And it's just so sweet. You could tuck it anywhere or give it as a gift. Again, her beautiful images, aren't they so sweet? I usually use gold as my primary accent paint color, but I did a lot of silver this time, a lot of mixed metal colors. I did rose gold, and the painting, I just loved it, and I actually really got more into darker silver. This one is very, very light, and that's fine, but I think I need to do silver more. It's growing on me. I really, really love it. I am going to just open this up for you and show you what's inside these little flip books. So cute. I've just tied it with some polka dot silk ribbon, and it's just a stack of small tags. I've added some vintage, where have I got it? Here it is, right here. Beautiful pom-pom trim. It's just so adorable. And then I've just backed them all so they can all be written on their tags, and they can be stacked like this and just folded up, tucked inside your journal or your purse, or given as a gift tag. You can embellish them more. Certainly, I've done the edges with the gold shimmer polish in the enchanted gold, and then they've got these little flaps here that you can tuck something in if you want to just tuck another tag in there. They fit quite nicely. So that is this little stack, and I'll set that to the side. And then I just added a little crown charm to the ribbon. Hope you can see that. Lots of dangles, lots of beautiful things. I got this beautiful prayer bracelet at the vintage market. I am so in love with it. This vendor is one of my favorites. Just amazing. I love it so much. So we have a beautiful cover made out of some brocade fabric, and I turned it lengthways so it could fit 11 inches tall, and then just delicately applied it to the brocade cover over top. This is actually a piece from Sheila Gingerich from Boho Daydreams. That was in one of my design kits, and I didn't use it on the project that I created last time, but it went so perfectly with this one, and it's just full of beautiful sparkly pearl beads and sequins. So pretty. And then I have this vintage ribbon with the sequins and all the frou-frou on it, and I just thought it would be a nice belt to wrap this journal cover in. Because they are so thick, I find them it would wow or bend, or however you want to call it, a little bit too much out of shape if I tried to do the eyelets in it. So I just prefer to wrap it with a ribbon. And then it's got the vintage pearl buttons, not mother of pearl, but very, very similar. And then all the froof and fluff coming out of the top, and the dangles on the bottom. The angel wings across, and a piece of antique sterling silver jewel that I have repurposed. And then these beads, these beautiful beads. This one I have named Heavenly, and she is the first in this series. Very soft tones, like vanilla, oatmeal, cream, ivory, little bit of white, and then light pink blush, soft green, maybe a little bit of soft blue. And this is the inside cover, which I have used my Anna Griffin papers. It's a paper pack that I've had for a long time. And it's foil. The paper is called something foil, but I did my own embossing. I did ink embossing with the gold powder and on the inside covers, and then added these beautiful lace appliques as little pockets front and back. Let's see if I'm in frame here. This journal is so tall. Make sure I'm far enough up. Got to keep my camera far enough up in the air to capture it all. So we've got a tall tag in this pocket that I've made. Added the sentiment, "You are loved." I've used a piece of vintage, it might be pillowcase or the bottom of a tablecloth or whatnot. I just gravitate towards the scallops and the different shapes, and I've attached a beautiful vintage button, pearl button, and then I've stamped on a lot of these. This particular sentiment says, "Like a guardian angel, the lighthouse stands, sending out hope in the night. Like a faithful friend, reaching out a hand, bringing comfort, truth, and light." And then just attached it to the back of the tag. And another small tag where I've used some antique lace and then some vintage ribbon and organza trim, and then these beautiful images. And that can be journaled on the back as well. Some of Sheila's beautiful bling. This is just so gorgeous. I really hope she has more. I love it. And then this burnout velvet is from a vintage scarf that I've gotten a lot of mileage out of. I did ruffles in each of the journals in this series. And then to make this opening page a little sturdier, I just created a tuck spot and added these die cuts. I've got some little metal dies, and I just cut the corners out of them. And these can be used for journaling on the backs. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful papers. And what I do is I ruffle it first, and then I attach it to the edge of the page. Sometimes I sew them on, sometimes I don't. It just gets too bulky. Here's another lovely tag, and I've used an applique, a gold applique at the top. The sentiment I've added is "Wondrous love." The Lord's unfailing love surrounds those who trust in him. And on this side, I've added a couple of tags. I used another die to make this scalloped edge for a tuck spot. And I've added some antique lace to the bottom. This might be a little tricky to get out, so I'm going to be careful here. It's lovely on its own, as it is, or you can tuck something inside if you wish. And I just used silver sparkly paper, glitter paper. There's a closer look at the antique lace at the bottom. Can be journaled on the back. And then I made dozens of these little holy cards and just painted the edges gold, backed onto parchment cardstock. Here is a journaling card that I have made. I avocado dyed these papers, added the images, and then this antique, beautiful, soft rose blush colored layers of lace and the rose gold bling from Sheila. Some beautiful crinkled seam binding and vintage glass buttons. I did some die cuts out of metallic gold paper and can be journaled on the back. I love making those. They're just so fun. Fussy cut out dozens of angels and added them to the page edges as well. This is Shakespeare, vintage book page, vintage sheet music. And I made some, this is, I believe, cotton paper. It's already embossed, and I used some vintage velvet trim, some ribbon that I bought. And I've had it in my stash for a while. It's slightly green. It's just such a beautiful shade. I love it. And a holy card. And then I left these lace appliques loose so that anything can be tucked in if you wish. Plenty of room to write your thoughts on or jot some notes. Some cotton trim. And then I've got a stacked pocket here. This idea came from Sam Poole. And I used vintage wallpaper instead of digitals and antique trim. That is so gorgeous. It's like a champagne color. I love it. So we've got some holy cards. There's nothing on the back, so you can write whatever you'd like. A Christmas tag of the nativity scene. And then this is a vintage to antique actual holy card with the scriptures on the back. And then a tag that I've created just using some stamping and the image, some metallic silver paper, and Tim Holtz cardstock. This is Greek, antique Greek paper. Love it. Coffee dyed metallic gold splattered paper. And then I've just created a flap at the top, so you can use that as a tuck spot. I have used my dies to die cut the toppers and added some ink embossed gold scroll design at the bottom. Beautiful image and plenty of space to write your notes. A piece of metallic gold thread vintage lace that I've just used as a veiled page. The beautiful flower images here. And then this pocket idea comes from Marlene of Uniquely Ella. I do love her designs too. So I've got a small paper doily with just the sentiment, love, joy, and happiness. The best things in life are meant to be shared. That just tucks in here. And then I've got a couple of spots for tucking. There's a tall tag that I've just added some beautiful vintage lace trim to. And it's got the Lord's Prayer stamped on the back. And another tag. I did put in a few Christmas tags simply because they're angels. Angels or the nativity scene, which is just so very special. You can add your own items, of course, whatever you'd like. Some beautiful vintage lace on the side of this page. And then I've created this removable swatch, fabric swatch. It has some crocheted, or I don't know if it's, I think it's machine done, but I just cut up part of a tablecloth and then some beautiful fabric that I got from Georgianne and some rosette trim and used that as an extra embellishment for this page. A pocket from one of the kits, and I have added this beautiful two-tone antique lace. I got these from Australia, from a seller in Australia. So beautiful. And I always love to include, of course, vintage or antique postcards. A beautiful holy card. Here's some of my shimmer mist paper that I've done in the past. This one is green. I tea dye them first and then I spray them outside in the summer times because it kind of gets all over the place. Another tag with the crocheted topper and a vintage button. Some beautiful vintage trim with the silver sequins in it. And the netting, the tulle, it's just so pretty. I love it. Another vintage postcard. This one is a Christmas one. It might be antique, actually. 1909. Yes, 1909. I leave them in their plastic wrappers usually until I deliver the journal just to protect them. Some of them just get a little bit nicked up and scuffed up, and I don't want that to happen. I've also used some beautiful papers, gorgeous papers, from Marjorie Rivera from Gilded Inspirations, LLC. She does her paper packs that are just exquisite. If you get a hold of her, there's just so much in them. They are absolutely beautiful. I love, love, love using them. I do like to use either vellum or tracing paper over top of a significant image underneath so it does peek through. and gives it so much interest. Another tuck spot here that I've added with a tag that I've done the gilding on the edges of the tag. Bible book page, vintage, actually antique music paper. This one is dated 1915. I did that in pencil so that I would know because I took it out of a book. And I've got some antique ledger paper here, actually vintage, 1938. Just so fun. I found these beautiful postcards. I do love this. Sweet little girl with a deer, tuck spot. And you may notice that I leave some of the ephemera hanging over the page edges. They're just too wide, and that's totally fine. A journaling card that I have put together for extra writing space. Attached some vintage and antique lace to the side edges of the center fold out. How beautiful is that? Love that image of Mary. So exquisite. And here you can see the real coloring of the tea dye. Just golden. So, so pretty. More writing space. Another tall tag. It's actually a big tag. I could have added embellishments to every paper clip, but it would make the book so weighty. And I felt that it was already bulky enough, so I eased off a bit. Some gold metallic trim, some vintage gold threaded trim, more like a champagne gold. And just added the words sweet sentiments there to the bottom. And then this verse, love is patient, love is kind. Just very reflective and thoughtful. Another vintage postcard. This one might be antique as well. I took it out of the wrapper. It's got a cross on it made out of the stones. So beautiful. A little vintage doily that I've added to the page top as a tuck spot. Another angel. And then I have added some gold texture paste in several places, mostly to the envelopes and folders that I have included in these journals. And then I've tucked inside some sentiments from me personally. In every journal, I have included the words for a lullaby that I sang to my children and now to my grandchildren. And specifically, I'll hold you while angels sing you to sleep. It's just so precious, so short and sweet. And then I included this verse that was impressed on me to just share it as an exhortation to the new owners. Whatever things are of good report, think on these things. As I was hoping these would be very reflective journals for the people I was creating them. And I hope they are meaningful and enjoy the depth of meaning behind the words. Just such a beautiful theme to work with. I love it so much. I keep saying that, but I really truly do. I've waited a long time to do these, and I just put my heart and soul into them. Another beautiful tall tag. I've added the sentiment, glory to God, and that's stamped with the Lord's Prayer on the back as well. Some beautiful antique lace, crocheted lace at the bottom. Some stamping in the very glittery gold. Can be journaled on the back, and a little angel Christmas tag. In this pocket, some beautiful scalloped lace trim with pearls in the gold thread. A small tag, it's actually a medium tag, I think, with some really sweet gold trim, and I've added some vintage gold rickrack trim that I was able to purchase at the vintage market about a month ago. It was just perfect timing. And then I've got the, the handheld paper punches, and I just punch out a scalloped circle and fold it in half, emboss it, and that becomes my tag topper with a piece of beautiful antique lace and can be journaled on the back. Another lovely journaling card or tag with some dotted organza ribbon, some vintage pink buttons, the gold metallic angel wing die cuts. This is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful vintage trim in that blush colored pink, and then some of that beautiful antique lace that I've got from Australia. It was just the perfect color to go with this avocado dyed index card. Some lovely blush colored vintage lace trim on the side of the page. And then here I've got this mixed metallic vintage trim, some glitter embossing on the card, and the gold tag topper out of a die. Lace veil page, space for writing, lots of space for writing your thoughts. And another medium tag. This is another tuck spot, and the embossed paper with an applique, beautiful sequined applique for a little card, and this vintage oh, what do they call it? Tattered velvet trim. I love it. Just so very pretty. Some more Greek book page, Battenberg lace trim, and then some pretty vintage trim at the bottom of this page in the pink and the gold, and beautiful vintage lace at the top. Another angel, vintage sheet music, vintage Shakespeare paper, and then another pocket made out of the vintage wallpaper. The idea came from Sam Poole. Some holy cards tucked in here, and the gold metallic embossed paper tag, which I've already shown you on a different page. And then this beautiful antique trim. So pretty. I made some ridiculously long tags that I just thought were so fun. And I've added a couple of layers of some vintage crocheted lace, and then this beautiful silver metallic lace cascading down the bottoms, and the silver vintage rickrack trim. That came from Lavish Laces. I've used that so often. I love it. Almost out now. And then the metallic champagne colored gold trim at the top. Then I die cut some angel wings and used white embossing powder, and they're loose on the one side, so you kind of got to be careful when you're handling the journals. And added a little Swarovski crystal to each of the wings. And then this side of the page has this beautiful antique lace on it. Isn't that just so gorgeous? Love it. A tag to write on the back. And then here is a side tuck spot where you can add something to if you would like. It just stabilizes the page and makes it a lot sturdier because it's got the heavy bling trim on the side. And that is bling from Sheila at Boho Daydreams. Another booklet that I have included and added some lovely vintage lace doily to it. And then I just stamped each of the pages with a verse that I hope is meaningful to the new owners. Another tall tag tucked into this side of the pocket with a beautiful gold applique at the top. And the Lord's unfailing love surrounds those who trust in him. Lots of positive, inspiring thoughts are tucked inside these journals. And that is a little peek at the sweet journal that I have named Heavenly. She is spoken for. She's going to be going to her new owner shortly. And I've got a few more videos to record. I hope you've enjoyed this. And I know it got a little bit rambly, but I had to create a backstory to how I came up with these. And then I've got all the digital names of the kits that I used. I will include that in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely holiday season, preparing for Christmas and the new year ahead of us. Our future is so bright. Bless you all.